Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are already a subscriber. If you're not, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button and like this video if you are about all things homeschooling. Whether you're a new homeschooler, maybe you're not even homeschooling, maybe you're just dipping your toes trying to figure it all out and still trying to decide if you're homeschooling. Maybe you've been homeschooling for a long time like me. I am a mom of 6 and I have been homeschooling. We're actually going into our 9th year of homeschooling, which is crazy. My oldest son, he's 18, he just finished high school. He just completed his last year. And I also have my youngest who just turned 6 and she's going to be starting her grade 1 year, because you know, the last couple of years we have done some schooling with her, like some homeschooling stuff, but it hasn't been very formal. We've been doing it for a while now, and I've been sharing what we have used this last year, the 2021-22 school year. I know that we are going into our new homeschool year. A lot of you have already started school. Here in Canada, we tend to not start until September. That's typically how the public school system does it, and we sort of, I mean, we don't do it to necessarily follow the public school, but just because it does work out for us. We have very short-lived summers here, and so we really like to take advantage of our summer break and our summer months and drag it out as long as possible. So I've been sharing what each of my kids have been doing, what they did this last school year. A lot of this curriculum we have done continually year after year. Some of it is new and some of it will continue again going into the fall. But I just thought that these types of videos are always really helpful in sort of seeing, you know, what worked and what didn't, what we liked, what we enjoyed, just to kind of maybe help others out in case it's a curriculum that maybe you're thinking of trying. And of course you have to pick based on your own kids, their learning style, what level they're at, what you enjoy teaching as a homeschool teacher, because that's a big part of it too. Because if you do not enjoy the curriculum, if you are not, you know, like looking forward to those moments when you are sitting down with your kids to teach, then that's probably not going to be the best pick for you, and you should probably look at something else, and that's okay. We have had our share of, we have stuck with a lot of curriculums that we've loved, but we've also switched it up quite a bit. I would say we do it a little bit less now than we did at the start, because I feel like when we were first homeschooling, like it's so, everything is new, you really have no basis of like, I mean, you're just picking everything for the first time. And I think you learn pretty quickly what's working and what's not. Anyway, a lot of these things, like I said, are tried and true. Other things we've incorporated in for the first time. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my daughter. She just completed her grade 8 year. She'll be starting high school come the fall. Grade 9 is like, I can't, it's like hard to imagine her in grade 9. She's capable of doing it, but I just like, when I look at her, I'm like, how are you starting high school? So I'm gonna share all the things that we did this past year for her grade 8 year. And I always, well, I try to preface by saying that I only pay attention to like grade level to a certain extent. I'm always looking more to see what is level appropriate for each of my kids. And if it says a certain number on a specific curriculum, I don't really pay as much attention to that, as long as I feel like they are constantly sort of being challenged, but that it's not too much, that it's frustrating for them. Sort of how I do things when I'm choosing curriculum. Now, I'm gonna start off right now by saying, because the last video I did was for my son and what he did in grade 6, and I put it down in the info, like I wrote it out in the info section down below in the video, but I forgot to mention math. And I didn't talk about it at all, because they do teaching textbooks and it's online and there is no formal workbook. So I didn't have anything in front of me and I totally forgot to mention it. But he does teaching textbooks. She also does teaching textbooks. So she just finished doing her pre-algebra. We love teaching textbooks. We've done Matthew C. Those are the main ones. We've done Matthew C, we've done teaching textbooks, and then actually my one daughter has done master books. My daughter, who just finished grade 4, has done master books. To be honest with you, there are pros and cons to all of them. I haven't outright like disliked any any of them. I would say that they're all great curriculums. But teaching textbooks has worked for us. I know it doesn't work for everybody, but it has worked for us, and my kids love it, and it's self-grading, it's all online, and yeah, we'll be continuing that in this next year. Okay, so for her, I've mentioned over and over again, if you've watched the other videos, but if you haven't, we do morning time in our homeschool. People call it morning basket, morning cart. I just call it morning time. We do a lot of group things. We always start off our morning time is with our family devotion, Bible time. And so we do that as a group. And I love that time that we have together because of the fact that we're doing it as a group. It's very much family centered, and we have discussions and questions and answers and all that kind of stuff. But aside from that, I have each of my kids do their own devotional time. That's just for them, their own personal, private kind of devotional time. They each have, you know, their own, I mean, they have a Bible, but they have their own devotionals. So the one that she uses is this one. Well, the one that she used, I guess. She actually has a little bit left in it, but I will be getting her a new one for this upcoming year. Dotted Me 52-week devotional for girls. It lasts the whole year, but they always have a little bit left because they only do this specific devotional during school days. I don't make them do it on the weekends. They kind of just do their own thing on the weekends in terms of Bible time. This is very specific to school, so that's why she has a little bit left at the end. These are great. They're all kind of laid out the same. There's a Bible verse, there's a little blurb. Sometimes it's like a kind of a made-up story scenario, or it's just something very direct to whatever the Bible verse is. And then there's usually a couple of questions at the bottom that they can, just for them to think about, and then there's a couple of lines for them to answer, and then a prayer. So that's what she does for her personal devotion. And then another thing that we do journal, or they do journal. My older kids did this as well. They just stopped doing it when they were, I think they may have done it in grade 9, maybe not. Once they hit high school, I give them the option to do it or not do it. Up until then, everybody does journal, and they just have these composition books we get. They just spend a little time, they write the date, and they just spend a little time. They can either, obviously depending on their age level, they're either drawing pictures. I mean, they can always draw pictures if they want, but you know, they're either drawing pictures or they're writing out whatever. And I just let them just go. They can just do whatever. Or they can make something up if they want. They can talk about, you know, it can be a journal in the sense of like almost like a diary type thing, keeping track of what we've been doing. It's just a fun, creative thing for them to do. Same time that they do the devotional, it's kind of like all in the morning. And the reason I do it like that is because it just kind of helps them to wake up. It kind of helps them to get their minds kind of ready and going for the rest of the school day. I may not have said this at the beginning, but I'm only talking about things that would be considered like independent, for the most part, independent work, because there's a few things that we do as groups. I'm not including that in this video. I will do a separate video for that. She did Wordly Wise book 8, and all my kids have done Wordly Wise. Aside from my 2 little girls. Wordly Wise is just, it's this great curriculum where they are given like a list of words for the week. The whole point is to kind of expand your vocabulary, to kind of just grow your knowledge of words. It makes you a better writer, it makes you hopefully a better conversationalist. You get a list of words. I don't know how many words are. I don't know if it's the exact same amount of words every time, but I would say it's about maybe 12 to 15 words. You have the word, you get the definition of the word, it's used in a sentence so that they understand like how you would actually use the word. And then the rest of the week is spent doing little, little activities so that you can get used to using the word and understanding how to use the word. So you're using it in sentences, you're replacing parts of sentences with that word. Sometimes they'll give you the word and then they'll give you multiple choice definitions, and you have to choose which one it is. And they do it for the week, and then at the end of the week there's a little quiz that basically just quizzes them on the word list that they were doing that whole week. When they're writing stories or when they're writing papers, you want to be able to have choices of words that you can use to describe whatever it is you're trying to convey, get across. So yeah, so I have all my kids do this right up until, like my son did it right up until the end of high school. Another thing that she did, this was her second year doing this program, which is Fix It Grammar. And this is another program that I do with my kids all the way up until they're done high school. I mean, it's pretty much what it is Fix It Grammar. So each course within the Fix It Grammar is based on like a story. So this one, book 2, is the story of Robin Hood. I was ordering it for this next year, and it looks like they've actually changed the format of it, so I don't know. Hopefully I'll do some videos on our new curriculum picks for this year, and I can show you guys. But anyway, they're super short, and that's the other thing, they're super short. So it's actually day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, 1 or 2 sentences in the story of Robin Hood. So as you're like doing it, you're actually like reading and putting together the story. They are correcting the sentences that are there. They've purposely made them so that they need all kinds of punctuation and grammar corrections. It's up to the student to find what they are based on the concepts that they've learned for that week. So it's just like reiterating like when to use capitals, when to use quotation marks, when to use a comma, you know, all kinds of things. It gives them kind of a reminder at the top of the page for that week, the things that they should be looking for. And they do the 1 sentence or maybe 2 sentences for that day. They need to go through and they need to mark up all the corrections that need to be made for that sentence. It's a great way because in all the other curriculum they're doing, they are the ones that are writing it in, but in this one, it's kind of like training their eye and training their brain to see what needs to be corrected. And I think it's a great way for them to be able to edit their own work when they are writing papers, writing responses, any kind of errors, mistakes that they've made. So this is a great curriculum. Again, it does not take any time at all. We've been doing this for a few years. We love it. So we will definitely be continuing this for next year. Another one that we have been doing for a while as well and that we love is Spelling Workout. And this is just a spelling program. I would say it's traditional in the sense of it's a list of words that they have to study and then get tested on. Now, kids also do the Good and the Beautiful, and incorporated into the Good and the Beautiful language arts, there is spelling, and they take all kinds of approaches to learning spelling words in the Good and the Beautiful. So I feel like they are good, like hand in hand, they go together well. That might be something you like. That might be, I know some people don't really like that traditional just kind of memorizing spelling words, but I feel like my kids are kind of getting different approaches to how to learn to spell. And similarly to Wordly Wise, you get your list of words and you're just doing various like activities every day using those words and having to write them out over and over again. Following Monday, we will do the spelling quiz, and we usually do that before they begin their new words for that next week. Okay, and then for her language arts program, we went with the Good and the Beautiful, and I also talked about, I know I keep saying that, but again, if you have had a chance to watch all my other videos, then you'll know, but maybe you haven't and you're only tuning in for this one. This is the Language Arts and Literature course in level 7, and she just finished her grade 8 year. So the Good and the Beautiful currently does not have a full language arts program for grade 8. They only have a book study. What we have been doing is we have just been doing one level behind. I don't consider it to be behind in the sense of if you're talking about the number correlating with the grade that they're in. So we don't typically do the book study, and so because of that, she did her grade 7 level in grade 8. And the thing is that between this and everything else that we do to supplement, I do not feel like it is behind at all. I feel like the Good and the Beautiful is very thorough. It's very, not intense, and I don't know if it's like advanced, but it's definitely on par, if not a little bit advanced maybe, for whatever level that you're using. So I'm kind of just saying that because I don't know, I think a lot of times homeschoolers can get caught up in what the number, what the level, what the grade says. And I understand, like I understand to a certain extent, you want your kids to, you want to feel like your kids are learning at an appropriate level for their age and grade. But just remember, because a good example of this is we've used Abeka. We've used a lot of their stuff, their sciences. We have used their different language arts programs. And I would say across the board, like in general, for pretty much any of their subjects, Abeka tends to be very advanced. That's just the experience that I have had. And you know, they'll still say grade 7 for whatever it is. But if you put that grade 7, you know, Abeka curriculum against something else that also says grade 7, you're gonna find differences. Then what do? You know, I'm just trying to say that, like, it really depends on the curriculum you're using and what they've included and what that specific curriculum is like. So don't be afraid. I'm just giving you permission now. Like I said, we're going into our 9th year homeschooling, and I'm not at all trying to say that I have it all figured out, because I don't. But it's more, if anything, if you get anything, the more years you homeschool, it's just kind of that confidence of being okay with the choices that you make for your own kids, which, when you think about it, is the essence of homeschooling, is it not? It is literally picking what you feel because you know your kids best, and picking what you feel is best for them. So just putting that out there, okay, in case you needed to hear that. That's how we're doing it, and I'm doing it the same way with all my kids, actually, who are using the Good and the Beautiful. We're just using one level behind, and it's working out great. I don't know what more to say about the Good and the Beautiful that I haven't already said. We just really, really like it. We like the layout of it. I'm not sure if it's level 4 or 5 where you no longer are doing it alongside of them. Even like when I'm doing it with my younger girls, and you know, like the teacher part of it, it's so great. It's so straightforward. It's just all laid out for you so simply. And I know that they continue to revise their curriculum even more so. Like the versions of language arts that we're getting this year have been revised, and so it's just that much better. But even, you know, even the older ones were great as they were. So I can't say enough great things about the Good and the Beautiful. They have worked for tons of my kids, and I also love that it includes the art and geography built in as well. So it's just kind of rolled into their lessons, which is nice. They do spelling, vocabulary, all kinds of things. So this was great. And then along with that, and this is what I mean about just picking and choosing whatever works for your kids, she also did is this BJU? I think it is. Yes, it's BJU. Writing and Grammar 8. Here's the thing. I'm also going to say this. If you only did the Good and the Beautiful, this is a full-on, comprehensive, all-inclusive, everything you need is here. You don't have to do the extras if you don't want to. Maybe I go a little heavy on the language arts, or like I focus a lot on that, but I think it's just because everything you do, like every subject that you do, there is an element of writing, obviously. And there's nothing worse to me than just poor writing in general. That is why we do the spelling and the fix-it grammar and the wordly wise and all that kind of stuff, because I just really want to drill that into my kids, just how important good writing is across the board in all subjects and in all areas of life. Like, let's be honest, it's very hardcore, it's very detailed, and aside from, you know, like I mentioned, you're doing a little bit of everything, and as much as it covers everything, but every time you do a lesson, it's touching on multiple things, which is great. This is straight up writing and grammar. It's not a lot in the sense of the workload. It all depends on how you decide to divide the lessons up. I don't find it to be too crazy intense. Because the actual sections are pretty short, and you can just decide, depending on your child and how much time you want to have them spend on this a day, you can decide how many of these sections they do every day. And actually, I didn't have her do this every day. So everything that I've showed you, I'm trying to think, yeah, everything I've showed you, she did every single day. The Fix It Grammar was only a 4-day program, so Fridays she wouldn't have to do it. And then actually for this, because she was doing the Good and the Beautiful every single day, she only did this twice a week. So that's the other thing, is like, she actually didn't finish this book because we were only doing it twice a week. So So if you only did this on its own, that would be a whole different story. Grade 9 year is going to look a little different, but I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to have her still finish this. I may still have her work on this a couple times a week. The other thing too was this really went well also with the Fix It Grammar, because that's kind of what she was doing a lot of in Fix It Grammar, and then this was just reinforcing all of those concepts. We did some of our science as a group, so that won't be included in here, but I always have the kids do independent science because, like I said, we do group science. It's just kind of for everybody. And then they do their own individual science that's more catered to their level of learning. Speaking of Abeka, we love Abeka Science. Love, love, love Abeka Science. This is something that they do on their own. It is chunky. It's chunky. There's a lot in here, okay? I just have them do this on their own. So this is kind of like the work, it's not a workbook actually. This is the textbook. There's not really like a workbook. There's not, as far as I know, for all the times I've ordered it, there's not like a student workbook. We use like a spiral notebook of some sort, and then whenever they get to the reviews or the comprehension checks, whatever it is, they just answer those questions in a separate notebook. But this was the order and design. Really just covers a little bit of everything. Let's see, healthy lifestyle, your body, creation and science, mammals, birds, fish, reptiles, amphibians, insects, ecology. So yeah, literally a little bit of everything. This is what I always choose for them to do for their individual science, just because I just love it. I love all the stuff they cover, and I just love how it's laid out and all the things. So I really, really like Abeka Science. Apologia is always a great choice for science as well. I would say it's even more intense. I keep saying that a lot, but Apologia Science is always one I do with them. Sometimes we just have subjects where I still want to go alongside them with it because I know that it's a lot to take in. It's a lot of information to take in, and I want to be able to still have like discussions with them and make sure that they're understanding what they're reading and that they're not just glossing over the information, especially with science related things as you get higher in the levels. We did do Apologia's Exploring Creation with Physical Science. This is the student notebook, and like, I don't know, you can see this is the student notebook. We didn't finish it. We did not finish it because it's a lot. It's a lot for me, a lot for her. She did this though, and she did complete this entire science. Even as they get into the upper levels, I still try to make sure that I'm always doing something with them. They're listening to me teach, and they're practicing note-taking, and if they have questions we can talk about it. Usually I pause after a while and I'll ask them to either, okay, tell me what tell me what I just taught you. Say it back to me so I know you understand. You'd be surprised sometimes. Yeah, we're going to continue doing this slowly but surely because we didn't do it every single day. I wasn't really concerned. I already knew we weren't going to finish this this year, but that's okay. So we will continue doing this coming up for her grade 9 year, and however long it takes is however long it takes. We always use typing.com. It's a great online free typing website, and hold on. And all my kids have also used typing.com. My older kids, I have them go through it twice. I have them cycle through the whole thing twice. My high schoolers, they're great typers now. Great typers. They're great at typing now. They're faster than me, they're better than I am. Because my daughter already did it twice, but she really enjoys it. For them, things like typing, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like almost like a fun activity that they do. They don't really like look at it as like school necessarily. I thought we would try out the Good and the Beautiful's typing curriculum and just give her an extra year of some typing practice. Last year was the first year. I got level 1 and level 2. My son did, my grade 6er, did level 1, and I started her on the level 2. Did she learn anything new? Probably not. I would say she didn't learn anything new that she didn't already know. But you know, just kind of the reinforcing the finger placement and all that kind of stuff, and just doing it. I mean, at this point, she still hasn't been doing a ton on the computer. Not that she doesn't use the computer, but I still have her mostly writing things out. I will sometimes have her type it out, but in general, she's not doing like a ton of her work on the computer. So this is kind of like keeps it fresh. Did that, and then the art the See the Light art class. She did this with my son. They did it together. They haven't finished it, so we're gonna continue doing it. We got this ages ago. Like, I did this with my older kids, so that's why, well, I say that's why. I think you can still buy it in this form, but I'm pretty sure they've changed the format and you can probably get it digitally or something like that. But it's a 9-disc art curriculum. We just use a portable DVD player that we have, set it up in the kitchen, and then her and my son do it. But it is great. Like, they're short little lessons and they learn everything from shape and space, value and color blending techniques, proportions for composition, texture and form, perspective for the landscape, balancing and for shortening, and then the portrait. And that's pretty much it. That's everything that she did for, I hope I didn't forget anything, because sometimes I edit back and I'm like, how did I not talk about whatever? But I think that's it. That was her grade 8 year. She had a great year. And again, you know, super exciting going into high school. When my kids get to high school, things change a little bit in terms of how we do our homeschooling. And I can touch on that in another video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you got some ideas for some of the curriculum that you might want to use in your homeschool. All in all, though, we had a successful homeschool year. My daughter did really well her grade 8 year, and super exciting to see her getting ready to start grade 9. Until next time, I hope you guys are doing well. Don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up. It really helps out my channel and lets me know that you enjoy these kinds of videos, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.